trendsetter, image maker, and gender bender. All these terms can be described to my first guest. 7 years ago, Boy George was the star of Culture Club. He became an international superstar, soaring to the top of the musical charts. Then in 1986, his bout with drugs brought his career to a halt. He's drug-free now, and he's very much back in the music scene. Will you please welcome, from Los Angeles, Boy George. Hello. And you look great. Now, I know you can't be here in person because you have a lawsuit, which we're not going to discuss. Okay. But you look so wonderful, so different. What do your fans say? Are they happy with the look?
Well, I think so. I mean, I don't think fans are actually that interested in... I mean, obviously, they're interested in the way I look, but not in the way that, say, the media is or, you know, or the press. Because
Melissa, my daughter, had literally in her class 4 children that dressed like you for a year with the locks and everything. Those fans, are they disappointed that you look adorable but so different now?
Well, I think it's just like a progression, do you know what I mean? I mean, I think people prefer it because, I don't know, I've been doing a bit of sort of going around to radios and stuff, and they seem less intimidated, which is a shame because I like intimidating people.
Yeah, well, you still do, don't worry.
All right.
When you and I met, we met about, what, 6 years ago in London. At that time, you were the press's darling. You were on the front page. Every day you did something, and they loved you and they adored you. Then came the drugs and came everything, and the press turned totally on you.
Well, actually, it started a long time before the drugs thing.
Did it?
I mean, that was kind of like the pinnacle of it, but they started to call me a fat pig and things like that a couple of years before that, you know. I mean, I think when you're really successful, they want to know a lot of things about you, and they'll do anything at all to find out what they can, you know. I mean, I was on holiday once in Jamaica, and a woman turned up and said she wanted to interview me, and when I didn't, she went back and she wrote the most hideous things about me. So I think it's just a thing that you have to always be aware of, you know.
You were terribly young. How old were you when you really hit?
I was about 21.
21. And be superstar worldwide. Do you think you were very naive with the things you did then that you wouldn't do now? You're a little wiser, a little older.
Well, I suppose there are things that I wouldn't have done then, but wouldn't do now that I did then. But I think that those experiences have made me a better person, you know. I mean, obviously, one of my biggest problems is that I've got a big mouth.
Yes, but that's why I love you. That's why America... people like to have you be outspoken, you know.
Yeah, but, you know, I think sometimes I've been a little bit too generous with my conversation with the media. And I think that when you give too much, it's usually a mistake, you know. I mean, I'm a little bit more reserved now. I say as much, but in a different way.
What about you had some people around you. We can, you know, we're talking now. We're not going to mention names, but you had a group of hangers-on that were just bad news, some of them. Really bad news.
I know. I think, you know, it's just something that... I think we all go through that in a way.
Did you get rid of that group?
Yeah, I do. I mean, you know, I think those people are kind of like my lower self.
Yeah. But are they still around?
No, no.
Did they disappear when a lot of the good times left? Did they leave you?
Well, I mean, a lot of those people, yeah, when it became sort of really bad, they all disappeared. But, I mean, that was a good thing, you know. But I'd like to say something. I know that you called me all the time when I wasn't well, so thanks.
Yeah, well, I loved you before. I love you now. That's very sweet. And
you know,
when Edgar had his heart attack, you sent the biggest flowers ever that hospital ever saw. I sold them. I made such a profit. It was...